Hey, welcome back to One More Guitar. Thanks for checking out the channel. So today I wanted to do something a little different. I just got this Classic Vibe 50s Telecaster a little while ago, and I've been playing it. I really like it, but there's a couple of upgrades I want to do to it. So today I wanted to put some locking tuners on here, and then I'm going to install a brass saddle just to see what it sounds like. I'll go through the guitar in each position and play a little bit. And then I'll do the same thing when I put the brass saddles on to see if the tone sounds any different at all. The tuners aren't going to make any difference. They're just going to make my life a little easier. So here's the tuners I have. Just Gotoh locking tuners with a vintage style. So they'll fit in my guitar. And then I've got also the Gotoh brass in tune saddles. So we're going to check those out. I guess Gotoh is my go-to today. Sorry for bad puns. So let's get into some sound samples, and then after that, if you want to see how I changed the parts out and what I did, that'll be it towards the end of the video. I really like this. I definitely think this is a preference though. I don't think the brass is better than the steel or the steel is better than the brass. They just have a different sound. I think those brass saddles really add some warmth. I think it sounds really good. Alright, so what do you think? Did you hear a difference or did it sound the same? Did you like one of them more than the other one? Let me know what you think about the brass saddles. Okay, so now I'll show you how I upgraded the guitar for anybody who's interested. Like I mentioned, I put Gotoh In Tune brass saddles on here and Gotoh Vintage Locking Tuners. So I'm just going to show you the process of how I put these in case it's helpful for others. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is take off the old tuners. This is pretty simple. All you have to do is unscrew these screws that are holding them in the headstock. And the only thing you really need to know is that the screws are pretty tiny, so just don't lose them. But other than that, it's really easy to do. You just take the screws out and the tuners come right out. Now I'm going to install the new tuners. There's nothing to it. It's just a matter of putting the screws back in that you took out a minute ago. I will say that these tuners came with bushings, and sometimes you will need to install these bushings. I've done some research and found that the Classic Vibe bushings will fit these tuners. So I'm not going to mess with taking them out because I really don't want to take a hammer to the guitar. But sometimes you will need to install these. So if the tuners don't fit, you need to install these bushings that come with the tuners, and that may require modifying the headstock of your guitar. So I'm going to screw the new tuners back into the headstock. Next thing I'm going to do is not what you're thinking. I'm going to mark the positions of these saddles. One thing I've read about these kind of barrel saddles is that you can have a hard time getting the guitar intonated. And this guitar is already intonated perfectly. So I saw this tip on Dale Braun's channel, and I'll put a link in the description, where he said that you can mark the position of the saddles on a piece of paper like I'm doing here, and when you install the new saddles you can put them back in the same position and maybe your guitar will have the same intonation. So I figured, why not take the opportunity to try it out. Okay, I'll put that away for later, and we'll see if we can use it when we install the new saddles. So now I'm going to just unscrew the old saddles and take them out of the guitar. Here are the Gotoh In Tune brass saddles. They seem to have a lot of good reviews, so that's what I went with. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is try to match the height of the screws in the saddles. Again, I'm just going to try to make these match the guitar exactly. But I will say that I've noticed after looking at these saddles that they seem to be a little bit bigger than the original ones. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I'm going to try to get these screws on the bottom to be the exact same height if I can keep them in my hands. Okay, so I got my paper back out. And what I'm going to do now is install the new saddles and try to line the screws up with the markings on the paper. Make sure you save the old parts in case you want to put them back on the guitar, or if you want to sell the guitar, or maybe you want to sell the parts. Okay, now I'm going to restring the guitar and see if the intonation trick worked. Alright, so I finished up putting the tuners and the saddles on this guitar and polishing the frets. So I think it sounds really good now. I have to tell you that the little trick I learned from Dale Braun for putting the piece of paper under the saddles didn't work for me. These saddles are actually a little bigger than the ones that came on it, so I had to set it up. I didn't have any problems getting the intonation correct or anything like that. It was just a matter of working it out just like any other guitar. So I'm really happy with the brass saddles. And then the last thing I'll talk about is the Gotoh Locking Tuners, these vintage style tuners. It's hard to give you a fair assessment on those yet because I've been messing with the action and the intonation so much that I'm constantly having to retune everything. They seem solid. The action on them is fine. The means by which you lock the string. I've seen some people online expressing their frustration with it, that they thought it was complicated. It's really not too bad. Just make sure you only give yourself enough space with the holes to allow the string through. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. They just lock as you turn them. I'm pretty happy with those. I definitely think it's going to make tuning easier. But overall, yeah, I'm super stoked with this guitar, and I'm really happy about the upgrades I've just done on it. Here's some pictures of everything after I got it in the guitar. I really appreciate you checking out this video and checking out the channel. Hope to catch you next time. Until then, take it easy and keep playing.